Welcome you all here today for this presentation and celebration of Annette Tarpley and Sarfraz Ahmed for their wonderful book, Two Hearts. We're very excited. It's been an explosive week for them as they have been hitting the circuit through the internet because we're internet world right now, and celebrating that they have had a successful #1 best-selling book this week. So this is awesome. Celebrate. So congratulations to you both.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, thank you so
very
much,
Lisa.
Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy week this week, hasn't it, Annette?
Yeah, it's been very busy. We've been busy. So it's exciting week. It's been an exciting week.
It's been exciting.
We were at number 2 at first right away with next to William Shakespeare. So
yeah.
And then we edged him out later. We edged Will out.
You edged out William Shakespeare?
Yeah.
That's true. Our book was right next to the picture and right next to Will.
There was Romeo and Juliet. You jumped ahead of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
You needed to
How
give
appropriate is that, right?
Well,
the romantic poet and the romantic poetess.
Oh, bless.
Well, that's wonderful. So tell me, how have your lives been affected?
Annette, you want to go first?
No, I'm waiting for you.
Okay, so I think what's happened, as I was saying, I think I was mentioned this earlier, but obviously the world that we live in, people can connect very easily with the poet through social media and so on. And I think I've doubled my Facebook sort of friends around the world, and they are literally right across the world. You know, sort of chatting to people, talk to people, and obviously they've downloaded the book, and or they bought the book and they want to chat about it, they want to talk about it, and I think my kind of audience has grown. You know, so it is a very global audience on the back of obviously Annette, and Annette's following obviously in India, I think that, and Bangladesh and sort of the South Asia has kind of spooled over to me, and it's just grown. It's gone mad. Absolutely, people are mad for the book. That's what I find, and I think the interesting is, and I think you know, they're mad for it now, but I think when they really just digest it and read it and enjoy it, and I think that's when the reviews will come out. I think people will start talking about it, and I think they will share it as well. So I think that's the big difference, and this feels like a very different book anyway. It feels, from the onset, I knew it was a very global publication. We knew that we were hitting. You know, it wasn't local, it wasn't even our regional, it wasn't even our country. We were going a bit, you know, global with it. I think we succeeded, you know, with the help of, definitely. And I think that's the difference.
Wonderful. How about you, Annette?
Yeah, it's really a substantial book. You compare, like, my first book, Poetry Potpourri, to Two Hearts. I mean, it's let me see if I can get the camera. So see how thicker it is? It's a lot thicker.
Look at that fat book.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then Two Hearts, it's like the icing on the cake.
228 pages. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Good.
And it is.
Go ahead.
No, it is literally, and I've said this before, it is 2 poets and 2 books. You're getting 2 collections of parts of one, and literally it is that. I mean, on the first chapter, which is about love and romance, there are 50 poems. That's big enough for a book on its own. You know, so it is, you know, for those people that love poetry, that perhaps have been following Annette or my work, this is a treat, beyond treats, because you're getting a lot of really, you know, top-notch poetry and very current poetry. It's not old. This is very, very new. I remember when I was actually writing, I wrote a poem and directly it went straight into the book. Directly there and then. It was like, you know, so current and fresh off the page. And hot off the press. So yeah, we're really pleased, and I think people have kind of welcomed it, especially at this time. It's Valentine's, you know, tomorrow, and also because of what's going on in the world. I think people need a bit of happiness, they need a bit of love,
Right.
and does that. So it's a fantastic way to kind of distract you from what's going on around you. So we've totally loved it.
Absolutely. And the thing that I found out about the book is it's not all Hearts and Flower Valentine romance poems. There are also some realistic, well, maybe that's not the right word, but, you know, some pointed things about life, how it is to be lonely. And I thought that was an important piece too. Not everybody has a Valentine on Valentine's Day. And
I think this year more than any other year, I think people will not have a Valentine's on Valentine's because they are socially distancing themselves for obviously for health reasons, things like that, you know. And these are difficult times. I mean, I wrote a poem and it's in the book. I called it the strangest of times, and it is addresses that. And I think Annette kind of doesn't. She wrote the lonely bench.
The lonely bench, yeah. Yeah, and so it alludes to COVID.
It's a lovely way of talking about lockdown. Whereas if you read some of my poetry, I just go for the kill. I talk about it up front. You know, I don't pull any punches. I just go right to it. Whereas I know Annette's a bit fed up with the whole subject and the whole thing. But what I
just do not want to give COVID any more power and control, so it's not going to go in my actual poem. It will allude to perhaps, but it won't. I don't know. I'm just so COVID is out, aren't you? Somebody I talked to the other day is from Australia, and he had mentioned that they had mentioned there in that country that perhaps the issue wasn't even going to go away for about the next 7 years. And I was thinking, 7 years? It's a lifetime.
Yeah,
that's a long time, and it is. It's going to. I mean, we don't know. I mean, we are living proof that this is all around us. And as poets, as writers, we kind of like a sponge. We kind of take things in and we absorb it, and we have to. There has to be a release.
Yeah.
And this book is very much, you know, of current and of now. And Lisa, you're quite right. There are 5 different themes in the book, which, you know, okay, it is 2 hearts, and it's, you know, very, you know, on the cover, it, you know, it looks very like a romantic type book, but it starts off with love and romance, but then goes into kind of, you know, despair and sadness. We tackle things like obviously happiness, and we like, and there's a very uplifting end to the book, which is about strength and confidence. And we wanted to talk about resilience and strength, and it could be individual strength, it could be strength of people around us, and some of the poems. I mean, I was reading, like, I think obviously because I was so involved in it, I was looking a lot of the time I was looking at my own poems, so I wasn't reading so much of Annette's probably the same as well. But I started to read a lot of Annette's work, especially at the end chapter, which is very empowering, especially for women. You know, I am woman, and I am what I am, and, you know, and those kind of titles are very, you know, they're like anthems, to be honest. And I think people around the world, and especially women, will relate to that. And I was reading it, I was thinking, wow, this is like something else. This is the word.
I didn't realize the ink of the writer was in here. I'm glad about that, actually.
Yeah, the ink of the writer.
Sometimes I don't remember what I put in it.
Well, you don't, because you've got to remember when you're putting a book together. And I remember, I think in November, Annette sent me a huge file of her poems, and I did the same to Annette. I think we exchanged our poetry. You know, I think I sent about maybe 55 poems. Annette sent about 70, and then we wrote together, and we kind of balanced it out that way. But there was a huge amount. There is a huge amount of poetry in there, which I'm really proud of. The book looks fantastic. Just the artwork, the cover, the design, the reviewers, the people at the back, the contributors, the people that kind of took their time to review the book early on, which we're very grateful for Jill to write such a fantastic kind of back blurb. So she wrote something, you know, which is on Amazon, you know, so people, it's a very nice reaction to the book.
That was a beautiful dedication she wrote.
It was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah,
She asked
it
me
was.
about it. She asked me about it.
Aphrodite and Apollo and Romeo and Juliet and Tsar Nicholas and, you know, Alexandra.
They all share the grass.
Who wants to read that? I'd like somebody to read that to us.
I can read it.
Go for it. You go for it.
So this is by Jill Sharon Kimmelman. It's a blurb on the back cover. So it's Aphrodite and Apollo, Romeo and Juliet, Tsar Nicholas II and his Tsarina Alexandra, Bogey and Bacall, Annette Tarpley and Sarfraz Ahmed. So together they all share a grand and enduring love, one so powerful that they are still spoken of reverence and awe. But those fortunate and inquisitive enough to seek out the stories of these fabled romances and lives, volumes of poetry and handwritten letters on thick sheets of linen and parchment papers, offer us insight into these storied romances. Annette Tarpley and Sarfraz Ahmed have as well as a few others in their group. They are individual poems rival the sweetest of the ancient lover exchange letters, and to nurture the part of all of our hearts that yearns for such delicious, intoxicating romance. Two Hearts is a marvelous addition to your personal library. It is packed with outstanding poems by both authors. Two Hearts takes us to places we can only dream of through the magic and the magnificence of Annette and Sarfraz's brilliant poems. Two Hearts is a splendid thematic book, and you will navigate for the first time with rare pleasure thanks to the collaboration of two outstanding poetic voices. Two Hearts is a place you will return to again and again. So yeah, she did a marvelous job.
She did. I'm going to ask Sarfraz to read a poem that he's contributed.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to read, and I'm just going to have a quick look at, obviously we've got the book, and I don't know whether to start off with maybe a love poem, perhaps, because I think obviously, you know, we started off with Two Hearts, and I'm going to read If You Looked My Way. If you had looked my way, if I could go back again to where it all began, where it all started, I would capture and contain it, hold it and mold it at will. If I could, I would hold it still. If I could revel in the joy and pain, so I would go back to that moment just to see you give me that look, that stirring kind, the smile that lingered, that gave me hope that one day you could be mine. Just for a moment, a split second before time took its toll, took you away from my soul, like the plucking of autumn leaves by the winds that blew. Time folded and unfolded, took you away from me, forever buried in history. So far yet so near, in dreams you appear, then fade away. But I can't help thinking how my life would have changed if you had looked my way.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And how
thank you so much.
I didn't know what ladies swoon so early on in the day. Of course, it is early our time, but not your time.
Yeah, it's been making so, but yeah, but that's obviously you know, that's in the book, and there's that's just a bit of a taste of it, and I think the other thing is as well, I think, you know, in terms of putting poems into the book, we're very proud of the poems. There's a lot of pride that we put in there, and I would say that, you know, a lot of these poems in the book, you know, in time, hopefully, I think they'll be classics. You know, people will go back to, you know, oh, Annette's Alone in This House is in here, or Sarfraz is, you know, Take Your Knee Off My Neck, and all these classic type poems are on there, and people can collect. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, I think so too. I mean, I have gotten accustomed to both of your styles of poetry, and you know, I pretty much know either way I'm going to find a winner because of the quality of the work that you all do. But I also know there are some distinct features about each of you that if I didn't know I was reading a poem by Sarfraz and I read it, I would know that was one of your poems. The same with Annette. And so I think that's important. feature to point out what's distinctive about the poet.
But can you tell if you look at the ones we collaborated on?
Not yet. Give me time.
You know what, Lisa?
That way, maybe y'all.
I find it really difficult. I was reading The Heart of the Poet, and I don't even. It is. I mean, I will read that poem, but that's a collaboration that myself and Annette did earlier on, and I read it this morning again, and I went through it, and I didn't even know which part I wrote. I had no real clue. I was trying to figure it out, but I didn't even know. There was like, oh, you know, put my hand up, and I've got no idea who wrote what. And especially the tango. I think we've got a bit of an idea of the tango because there was a couple of lines that I think Annette was being very risque with her words, but I think I upped the ante a bit when I came back with a few lines that were.
You were talking about the droplets on the thigh, remember? Whatever going down the thigh.
Yeah, sweat that was dripping from her thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got a bit. You know, it was my 50 Shades of Grey moment, I think.
So we're talking about a little bit of spiciness in this book, I'd say.
Yeah, very, very hot. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed writing that. It was good.
Yeah. All right, so you might need a little champagne and a fan while you read the book a little bit.
Oh God, yes, I'm getting hot. I think I get quite hot when I read it. I think I read it a few times now, and every time it just gets a bit. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, it is pretty hot. I had to do it twice, remember? For an interview, she had to do it twice.
Lisa, just to quickly tell you before Annette reads her poem, I think Annette asked me, I think once we put the poem together, and Annette asked me, she goes, you know, Sarfraz, shall we put this on Passion of Poetry? Shall we release a bit of it? What do you want to do? And I said, it's too. I don't want people to. You know, this is something special. This is something you know, acceptable. You know, I don't want to give the kind of goods away. You know, so freely, and that was so excited.
Yeah.
She was very excited to kind of put it out there, and we could release a sneak peek, maybe a couple of lines, maybe in on Valentine's Day, just to give people a bit of a tease. But it is very hot from the collar, the tango.
Just give us a sound bite for it. That'd be a way to do it. Okay, Annette, would you like to read one of your poems?
Oh, sure. Let me. I'm just trying to figure out which one I came across. You know, I didn't dog tag anything. Oh, the goodbye letter. So I'm going to read this one because it's interesting. And this is I'm trying to think of which subject matter this is in. I can't remember. But it's called well, I thought I had the goodbye letter. Well, maybe it's not the one I thought of. I'm going to revisit it because I thought it was a different one. No, we don't want to read that one. That's just too whatever. I think we'll do the Lonely Bench. You mentioned the Lonely Bench. Let's do that one.
I love the Lonely Bench.
So this was supposed to allude to COVID without really saying it. So there's a beautiful picture of an artist, actually, a famous artist. I try and remember his name because of the L. And he's in a different country, but he's an internationally renowned artist. You might have seen his bright paintings or advertised them all over Facebook. You know what I'm talking about? So this was a bright bench in, you know, a fall type setting. And I actually bought one of his pieces. I had it framed for Christmas. So the artist. But this is called The Lonely Bench. In the park I sit, a wooden bench surrounding trees outlined by a fence. The trees now turning to amber hues. The streets are vacated with ill news. It's been some time since passers-by. In the distance I can hear the sirens cry. Once lovers who had adorned my seat, now abandoned. Where do they meet? In the daytime, I'm greeted by rays of sun. Children no longer frolic around me in fun. The birds still sing and fly, then rest on their bough. Cats still pass by me, greeting me with their meow. Streets wet with tears heavens reflect golden lights. The clouds giving way to a dark, starry night. In the distance, I can hear the clap of thunder. No people with umbrellas. I sit here and wonder. My life in solitude, I miss the attention so much. I miss the heat of bodies. I miss human touch. So that is The Lonely Bench. Makes you feel kind of sad for the poor bench, huh?
It does. And I think it's so appropriate for the times that we're in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wonder if one of you would like to read a poem that you collaborated on.
Do you want us to read it together, or do you want us to read it separate?
Yeah, maybe just one of you read it. It might be easier for you.
Okay.
One of you read
Go
it.
ahead, Sarfraz.
I've actually got. I mean, we collaborated on quite a few poems, but I've got The Shadow of Love. Yeah, which is, I know, because Annette would never have gone the way I went with the poem, because I went a bit lockdowny on the poem. But Annette wouldn't have gone there. So this is interesting. It's called The Shadow of Love, and it's
yeah, you're right.
It's in the side
competition.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's interesting. I actually quite like this. It was a good poem. Okay, so let's see if I'm on. Yeah, I'm on. Okay, The Shadow of Love. The shadow of love casts a spell over a world that propels, moves its axis from left to right through the day and night, nourishes the earth and lets it grow. But among the beauty there is a deadly virus, something we didn't know. For it moves through the air, manifests itself through the day and night as we distance ourselves, move from left to right, wear masks to guard ourselves from its plight. Despite our ominous death wrath, a love enveloped the world that hath filled our universe with compassion, love and understanding has no ration. We embrace each other with understanding and love. Our weary eyes turn to the heavens above as we all cry out, please stop, we can't take no more. For the world has shunned us from the beauty, ordered us to hide behind closed doors. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, see, I can't distinguish one of you from the other in that.
Now that one I could on that one. So
that one
you did the first part, and I kind of did the.
I didn't get stuck. I kind of said, Annette, what do I do now? And I think that's where I was. And then Annette kind of filled it in, and it was, and then it all came together. I did the ending a few times with that because I wasn't pleased. Mm-hmm. So I did the ending a few times, and yeah, and it all came together. I always like to leave my poems or readers, and I like poetry to have a sense of wonder and leave the listener wanting more. And I think this one is a classic example of that. You know, what happens next? What does happen? But it is quite sad. You know, we are ordered us to very, quite nice.
Yeah. Yes, very nice.
It's a good poem.
Annette, would you like to read another poem?
Sure. Sweet Surrender. I just came across that. Do you want a romantic one? This is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
This one's called Sweet Surrender. In the nuance of our love, we embraced in sweet surrender. The touch of your hand ignites memory of a love once remembered. How sweet it was to be held in your arms. I relaxed, content being there. Excitement gave way to energy, every cell in my body alert and aware. The heat of your breath on my face as our lips meet and explored. Sensuality gave way to passion, stolen moments, our only reward. Captivated by your masculinity, my attention was at your disposal, responding to my femininity, enraptured by this proposal. Inseparable we became, our bodies intertwined in a luxurious bliss. Hearing you whisper in my ears contents I did not want to miss. Thereafter, lustful intentions evolved into untainted love. Exhilarating moments ensued, then soaring to the heavens above. I can still feel your touch. I can still feel the heat of your breath. The memories forever embossed in my mind until I reach my celestial death. So that is Sweet Surrender.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I love that. I'm going to show on my screen the Amazon. If people want to know where to buy the book, Two Hearts into Heartfelt Poetry, available on Amazon,
Nice.
paperback and
There
Kindle.
we are.
Oh, that's y'all.
Two Hearts.
You can even see the images there. You can see the back cover. So it's lovely. I who designed that? That is just outstanding.
Go ahead, Sarfraz.
Right, Lisa. My sister designed it. My sister.
Really?
I've got there's 5 of us in our family, and my middle sister Sabina, who's actually an artist. So she's still like, she's actually doing art at university now, but she's been drawing and painting for many years, and she missed. I regretted not using her for my first book, but when it came to this one, I said to Annette, let's ask my sister. I want to ask her, see what she thinks and what she says, and she jumped at the chance, and it was so nice because she was very, when you work with people that you don't know, you don't have that relationship that you have with a sibling. And with my sister, it was fantastic. She was so good. She did so many different versions of the cover, and then Annette and myself chose it. And it was this one. I think it was this one from the get-go, wasn't it? We absolutely loved it. So, and also what she did as well. I mean, she is obviously acknowledged in the book, but she also designed the kind of divider sort of artwork. So for sadness, she's got to divide picture imagery of sadness, of happiness, and love and romance. So she designed the artwork throughout the whole of the book. So she did all of it. Very, very grateful to her, to be honest.
Yes.
I think
Did
it's
a
just
lovely job. Thank you, sister. And then we had T-shirts made, which I wore mine in our last interview, but Sarfraz has had some.
I want to see. Yeah.
So
T-shirt.
do you see it? Wait.
Oh, nice.
Two hearts. And then on the back side, I had this put. So, Two Hearts, A Journey into Heartfelt Poetry by.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's it could be advertising expense every time you wear that. So
It was so different to, I think, Annette and because Annette and myself, kind of both of our books came out sort of last year, debut books. And the whole feel for this was so different in the sense that it was the kind of the marketing, the publicity that came with Two Hearts. It was there was a sense of excitement that was there was a sense of excitement with the debut books, because obviously that was our first book, but the marketing aspect of it was something else. It was phenomenal, to be honest. And kind of got a frenzy going, got an excitement going. But I think also this was the right time to have that kind of publisher behind us, because I think for the first, people don't know who you are, you're an unknown quantity, they don't know your work. And I think with poets, we follow poets that we like. There's so many people out there that do poetry, but there's probably a handful that we will put our hands up and say, I will buy their book. I will, I'll invest my money and my time and my energy in there. So this was just really fantastic. It was amazing. It was good. It was really, really great.
Who was your publisher?
IO Gurich and from with GMGA Publishing did a marvelous job.
She did an amazing job, and I think half the issue was, which was really great, is the fact that she's a poet herself, and she's a writer, and I've got her books, so I've got books, and when we were kind of putting the book together, I had her book in mind, the way that she put it together, the layout, and so on, and that really helped because it felt it was kind of, we were talking the same language, but it felt like a bigger book. And I think because we've got, Annette's got her fan base, I've got my people as well that kind of really kind of like my work, and I think it all came together in this book, and I think people will really enjoy it. It's a treat.
Right.
It's such a treat.
It is a treat.
And I think they'll enjoy it. I think the price is very good as well. I think so actually a friend of mine was talking to me yesterday, and he was talking about buying the book, and he was going about how good the price was for this book, for the size of it. It's got 136 poems, 136 poems. So in theory, you could even say you're getting three little books in there. So we're really proud of it, and we're so grateful. I'm so grateful and thankful for all the people that contributed, and those reviews were fantastic. So thank you for everyone.
Yeah, we had so many people review, and you were one of them, Lisa. But I had a whole lineup of people, and I was afraid that someone would respond, and we got this huge response. So we had way more than we ever anticipated.
Yeah,
they all had lovely reviews. Yours was lovely, and
thank you.
yeah. So I think that you were the first one to review us on Amazon, weren't you, Lisa?
I think I may have been. Well, if I'm going to write a review, I might as well take it all the way.
It's true. I mean, and the nice thing is, it hasn't been a week since the book's been out, and it can only get better, and I think the momentum is going to increase. I mean, I know with my poetry community of friends and people that I know, if they see a good book, if they find a good poet, they will share it. They will say, this person's interesting. Start following them and start finding out a little bit more about them. So no, it's exciting to hold the book. The book is a beautiful, I'm not just saying because it's my book, but I've seen a lot of poetry books, and you can, but something else. It's a lovely project, and we only started, I think it was in November last year, so it's only been 3 months, maybe 3 a bit.
Yeah, well, I think we just started talking about the concept then. It wasn't even physically started yet, right? More of the...
Yeah, the idea, we wanted a very emotional book. And I know that obviously Annette, knows me as a romantic poet, and wanted to kind of glean all the romance and the love and all of those aspects of the poetry that I write in there. And the nice thing is we've got to showcase more of our work. Because people have said to me, do you write anything else apart from romance? Well, to be honest, I actually do.
Yes,
I do. I write a lot.
But you do romance so well. You do it so well. Oh, it is in here. I was making sure the romantic quote was in here. I started worrying about it. So that's the poem that I wrote. Actually, there's Audible on YouTube under my playlist too. After I read Sarfraz and some of his work from his book, I found his book. And I wrote The Romantic Poet, but I didn't tell anybody who I wrote it about. And then I fessed up later that, it's your poetry that made me. Oh.
Yes. Have we got time to read more? I'd like to read.
I was going to see if you each would like to read one more poem before we close out.
I want to read a poem that I added very, very late in the day. Because when the book started coming together, the chapters, I could see what was in the chapters, and the last chapter is Strength and Confidence. And I have got maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 poems in there, and Annette's got quite a lot of empowering anthems in there. And I wrote this last year, earlier on, and it's called I Rise Up. And I want to end with this.
All right.
I rise up. From the dust of history's gaze, from the heart of encapsulated slaves, bound by shackles tied to metal and stone, that cut through skin and bone, I rise up holding onto a wing and prayer, the tail end of hope, a sparkle that burns through the darkness, penetrates through torch cries of the caged bird. From the gravel pits of history, from the pain I endured time and time again, from the strength I found in the hearts and the comfort of strangers, those that have come and gone, from the hope of a rising sun, from the kiss of the phoenix and the belly of the dragon, dreams that used to exist. I rise up, I rise up, I stand tall in the midst of history's gaze. I fly like a shadow upon all those that did me wrong. I rise up like fire. I burn hard and I burn strong. Thank you.
Love it.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. So Annette, what you gonna take us out with?
Well, would you like my words, or do you want my words, or my reflection in the mirror? Which one would you like?
Whichever.
Whichever. Okay, I think I'll do. No, I don't. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do let go. Actually, totally went a different way. Let go of the memories. Let go of the pain. Let go of the seasons that cause tears to rain. Let go of the sadness. Let go of the unrest. Let go of the toxic people that once knew you best. Let go of the heartache. Let go of the emotion. Let go of all the unseated, frail notions. Let go of tainted visions. Let go of ill humor. Let go of poisoned ideas of fractured, futile future. Let go of the self-contempt. Let go of the blame. Let go of all the self-degradation that once caused you shame. Let go of venomous words. Let go of where you have begun. Let go of others from where you have been shunned, once you have been shunned. Let go of the hate. Let go of the hostility. Let go of all the dark, infectious, fragile futility. Stop what you're doing that made you lose control. Take over the power and just let go. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
I like that. Very, very
Let
good
go.
points. Let go. Just let go of these things.
Oh, fantastic.
Now you can find this poetry on, well, not this poetry, maybe some of it, but beautiful poetry by both Sarfraz and Annette on the Passion Poetry Facebook, which is a large group. I don't know how many you have now, but a lot.
We're almost at 4,000. We're
4,000. Wow. That's amazing.
And yeah, in a very short period of time. So yeah, we're just trying to see if it actually turned over, because it's just about ready to turn over. But yeah, the Passion Poetry, which I started, and Sarfraz is an admin on, and as well as Kathy Joe, who's sitting in here. She is one of our moderators. So I have a wonderful team, actually.
Absolutely. That's what helps make it a success, and then all the beautiful poetry that is shared on the page is just outstanding. So I want to thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for coming on here today. Congratulations, and just keep writing that poetry. Who knows, there might be a Two Hearts Part 2.
Yeah, that's something that Annette actually. It might be.
Well, it's like when you have a baby. When you have a baby, you don't automatically, like that same day, want to go and have another baby. But then a few days go by and you think, I think you could do that again. And so
Well,
this would be like,
say, hold the date, 2022, Valentine's Day. There could be another baby.
There you go. Yeah, but this will be a toddler by then. And yeah.
I said, I messaged Annette earlier on this week, and I said, you know what? My poems are there. They're already there for the next volume, so you don't have to worry.
I have quite a few too. So see, we've already started our repertoire.
Yeah,
we just keep writing. Yeah.
But we're going to see how this goes. I want to see how people have received it. I want to hear what people like, which poems they have to touch their hearts. So I think that's the exciting bit now, is just to hear the reviews and see what people think, because it is for the people. That's why we write. Ultimately, it's to get the word out there, to get the poetry out there, and so people are enjoying poetry and getting. So, but it's exciting to be, I think, number 1 in the UK. Is it number 2 in India? I think
two in India and 2 in the US.
Yeah, 2 in the US.
Changed recently. So apparently you got a lot of connections over there in the UK.
I did. I actually, I think I spent maybe a couple of hours just sending out the links and the information each morning. So that was like, at least, a couple of hours, and all the contacts and all the people that I said. I think people really jumped on the free offer, the free download, which was there.
But before the free offer, to our credit, we were already at number 2, and that was raw. Well, that's not doing any of that.
But as well, I think it just increased people. I think when people read it and they realize, what the poetry is, and that actually gets them excited and said, well, look, I'm actually going to buy the book. And I've seen this with people. People have said, no, I've downloaded it, but I'm buying the book as well. And I was having a conversation with a couple of friends of mine, and they said this. They had in fact, while I was on a video call with them, they were ordering the books for friends and family. So they were just like, and they weren't just they go, we like this work. So I'm really proud. It's a dream come true. I think it's exciting. It is a dream come true. So, thanks for everyone.
We just have to figure out how to get on Ellen. Sarfraz kept talking about how we could get on Ellen.
Yeah, so I actually contacted Ellen DeGeneres as well, and sent her the link. You can download the book for free. So
you did?
Oh, yes. Because I'm on I'm on everything with this. Well, she might like someone. You know how she is. I think if a celebrity likes your work, then the next thing you know, we'll be on Ellen. We'll be flown over, I think.
Yeah.
And in New York, I think.
Maybe you should try Oprah.
Yeah, she's gonna
She has the
say.
Book of the Month Club.
Yeah.
Do you want to contact Annette? Contact Oprah
I'll
and just
try
say,
to
look,
figure it out. But
2 Hearts could be the book of the month. That would be fantastic.
yeah, I would love to send you a free copy.
You could also go on CBS on Sunday morning. That's another great show that features people who you don't hear about. And so, Sunday morning is one of my favorite shows, and they'll bring in people like you didn't know existed, and it's like, wow. Yeah.
Really?
Annette, that's so
Yes,
we are
morning.
Well, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, it's exciting. I think you've got an interview tomorrow, Annette. Is there a big interview?
I have like 2 kind of this type of festival with a bunch of poets where we're doing recitations. So I have 2 tomorrow.
Obviously, read some from the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for coming together today. Thank you all in the audience for participating. We can give a big round of applause here to Annette and Sarfraz for all your hard work.
Kathy, Joe, and Dennis for joining us.
Yes, congratulations to you both.
Thank you, Dennis.
Glad I could be here. You did great.
Thank you, Kathy, Joe. It's my backbone. That's passionate poetry backbone. Or the machine behind it. Yeah, you're making it go. So thank you again, Lisa, so much. You've always been so supportive.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, Lisa.
And you have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.